and welcome to another edition of the Sustainable Scoop. In the DC metro area, we have planes, trains, and automobiles, and that's just the start. We are one multimodal society. And joining me today to talk a little bit about the future of modality is Chris Yeasal with a brand new company called Flare. Welcome, Chris.
Hey, Miriam, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's really an honor to be here and excited to join it tonight and talk more about Flare.
My friend, you are right up my alley. We have Amazon coming to our area, increased density. It's very complicated. Citizens are all up in arms about transportation. Tell us about your transportation solution.
Absolutely. So that's kind of what our focus is. There's three things we really want to improve in the area. The first is efficiency. The second is sustainability, and the third is safety. So kind of walk you through those three aspects of our operations and how we want to kind of address each one. So in terms of efficiency, we like to take people off the road. We like to encourage people to drive less vehicles. We have a shuttle service that transports 6 passengers at a time. We like to think that it will help take vehicles off the road. When we're taking vehicles off the road, that reduces congestion. That makes it easier for people to live without a car maybe in a neighborhood or neighborhoods that are kind of zoned where it's a little more challenging or parking's more challenging for people to have a vehicle or more than one vehicle. We think we can be an attractive amenity that'll make it easier for people to live in those neighborhoods and live without having a car.
A car can be really isolating sometimes, as you said, transportation with parking and things like that. It's almost stressful.
Yeah, you could say that. So we really think that we'll not only add value to neighborhoods where we can operate, but also reduce stress by kind of attacking congestion in neighborhoods where we operate. And also by doing that, maybe increase productivity. If people aren't driving cars or they're not stuck in traffic jams, they can be more productive during a day.
And everybody thought that Uber and Lyft were such a great idea when they came about. But, you know, I have not seen a reduction of traffic. I've seen a lot of confused drivers through all kinds of neighborhoods, and I've even heard some scary stories. So how does your service differ from a service like Uber or Lyft? I mean, you have to have drivers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a great question. So a couple things kind of on pros and cons with ride sharing and how we're different than a ride sharing service like Uber or Lyft. With ride sharing, you'll see a lot more vehicles on the road. That makes not only congestion worse, it's tougher on sustainability. More vehicles is more CO2 emissions.
Your vehicles are electric vehicles. And it's funny, the same vehicle that I saw you had parked out at Columbia Pike is the same vehicle I saw that a lot of the big companies in Crystal City are using to shuttle around their guests. So tell me about that product.
Yeah, absolutely. So our vehicle, Polaris manufactures it. It's called the GEM E6. It's kind of the gold standard in electric shuttles like that. It's used on college campuses, on streets. It's a shuttle service at airports across the country. It's totally roadworthy. It's safe, zero emissions. It's all electric. And we put a lot of time and energy into choosing it, and we think it's a great fit for our service.
And you know, you and your partner, Andres?
Yes, Andres DelGado.
Okay,
Yep.
You guys have a very interesting background. Tell me a little bit about Andres and yourself.
Sure, yeah, appreciate it. So we actually grew up together right outside Baltimore. I got into this world kind of to start with. I was an Army logistics officer for about 6 years. I did a tour in Iraq as a convoy commander, and that really exposed me to a supply chain that not only was dangerous, but it was also not very efficient and not very sustainable. So that experience made me want to tackle those challenges when I got out of the Army. So not only making the economy we live in less reliant on fossil fuels and kind of more sustainable energy solutions, transportation solutions, but also really looking at efficiency. And I think when we have less vehicles on the road, that allows us to have a much more efficient transportation system. So not only is that environmental benefits or safety benefits because there's less congestion, but again, it also allows people to be more productive because they're not stuck in traffic jams.
Well, it is all about logistics. The efficiencies that you can pick up by doing things in a smart city is something that we're trying to look at in this DC metro area. And one thing I hear over and over again is that last mile. And this is really critical to get people to public transit so that they can enjoy it as an amenity, as opposed to having to figure out how to either walk through the rain or call an Uber.
Absolutely. We really want to function in that space as a first mile, last mile transportation provider. really at the neighborhood scale is an amenity that will connect residents, employees, folks who live and work in a neighborhood with retailers, restaurants, and especially transit centers, metro stops, bus lines, to be something that makes getting around from where they live to where they work to where they shop much easier.
That's a fantastic amenity. So how do people find out about your company, and perhaps even if their business or their organization is interested in utilizing it, how do they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So our website is www.flairrides.com, and people are encouraged to reach out to me directly. My email is chris@flairrides.com.
Okay, and then we'll have Andres on the show in a couple months and see how things are going. How's that?
Absolutely. Sounds great, Miriam.
Okay, great. Well, I want to congratulate you for this brilliant idea. I know you're going to be a huge success. It's certainly, definitely needed.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you
for having me on.
And I want to thank all of you for watching this edition of the Sustainable Scoop. I'm Miriam Gennari. Back to the news desk.
If you're interested in learning more about livable communities, visit livability22202.org and find out what one local community is doing to prepare themselves for the future. Now take a moment and subscribe to the Sustainable Scoop, so we'll always be here to keep you informed.